Totally Useless Information with Nick and Roy is brought to you in part by Tom's Place, the finest in men's fashion, located in Toronto at 190 Baldwin Street, in the heart of Kensington Market. Or visit toms-place.com. It's everything you never needed to know. This is Totally Useless Information with Nick and Roy. Listen, laugh, and learn.
We've all seen Da Vinci's The Last Supper. The painting, right?
Mm-hmm.
Or maybe not.
Oh. Besides painting and sculpting, what else is Michelangelo known for? Hi, I'm Nick.
And I'm Roy. And this week we scour the internet to find out these useless tidbits just for you.
Plus, we'll answer your questions in the mailbag segment. And in the news, always listen to your wife, unless she's trying to kill you.
Totally useless information. It's everything you never needed to know.
Have you been listening to my wife and I's conversations?
No, I haven't. Why? Is this a conversation that you two have had? And
No. Go
Okay.
on.
All right. Well, anyway, welcome back to the show. Thanks very much. 90 plus countries, maybe 95 at this point. Thank you very much for joining us. Yes, I sound a little more nasally because, I've been fighting a little bit of a cold, but, 'tis the season. The holidays are done. And with all the running around and stuff, I guess they're caught up with me. But you know what didn't catch up with me? Art. You know Art? You know the guy Art, like Art Carney? No. Here's our topic about art. Salvador Dali.
I love Dali.
He was, hello, Dali. He was a surrealist artist, right? He once appeared in a deep-sea diving suit. Okay?
I saw it in a document. He made his own documentaries.
Right. Okay. Well, in 1936, at the opening of the International Surrealist Exhibition in London, Dali arrived in a vintage diving suit and helmet, accompanied by a pair of Russian wolfhounds. Now, he intended this outfit to be a statement about plunging into the human subconscious, but something almost went wrong. While he's delivering his lecture inside the suit, he began to gasp for air as the helmet was sealed and reportedly had no air supply. So luckily, fellow surrealists who became realists, I guess at that point, they helped him quickly unbolt the helmet to prevent him from suffocating, thanks to David Gascoigne and George Hugnett.
Yeah, they always walk around with wrenches and ratchets.
Yeah. Well, they're surrealists, right?
He was a sensationalist, Dali. His museum is down here in Florida, in St. Petersburg. I've been to it. It's fantastic. And he was a great artist, but he was probably the guy who first figured out social media back then. He created all these sensational things to get people's attention. And he did get people's attention.
100%. Yep.
He explained himself as Dali is Dali.
The greatest, Dali.
We've all seen the Da Vinci Code.
Yes.
This is my teaser.
Yes.
I'm going to come right out with it, Nick.
All right.
It's a painting, right? You've seen it? No, it's not a painting.
No?
Nope, it's not on canvas. It is not a painting. It is not portable.
What is it?
It's a mural on the wall of a monastery in Milan.
Oh.
And what we see is an image of it, but we don't see the actual monastery fresco.
Right.
Because it's deteriorating so badly. So what we're looking at technically, I guess, is a print of the actual depiction of Da Vinci's Last Supper.
So would you say technically he was the first graffiti artist?
I would say he should have been arrested.
What's your tag, right? What is your tag? Now, this is really interesting.
LD, baby.
So here's my teaser. Michelangelo signed only one work, his famous Pietà, carved on the sash of the Virgin Mary's chest, after overhearing people falsely attributing it to another sculptor. He reported He reportedly regretted this rare display of pride and never signed another piece.
Mm. So he tagged her right in the cleavage.
He did. Actually, that wasn't my teaser. That wasn't. The next one's my teaser because I had two about maybe the theme for this session of art is about Michelangelo. So there's one, but my teaser is the next one. I'm going to tease you about my teaser.
Well, I'm going to talk about somebody else.
Okay.
There's a painting called The Night Watch.
All right.
It's really a nice painting. It's rather interesting, and I like the Dutch masters.
Yes.
And so Rembrandt painted The Night Watch. And one of the things about it is it was this drab, dark painting that was a nighttime scene. Well, it takes a museum hundreds of years almost, I would assume, to figure out that it was actually a daytime scene. It was just covered in grime on the varnish that was put over to protect the painting. By museums years ago would varnish the paintings thinking they were doing a good thing, but the varnish would end up cracking, getting old, yellow, and then it would also pick up grime. The painting was not a night scene, it was a day scene until they cleaned it. Figured out when they restored the painting, they realized, oh my God,
Wow.
Cool, right?
It is. Oh my gosh, I can see daylight now. Here's my teaser. There is no end to this man's talents. Michelangelo wasn't just a sculptor, he was a poet. His poems explain his entire life's purpose and why beauty is a path of transcendence. Transcendence. It is.
Mm-hmm.
True legend, his works take my breath away. That's his life's purpose.
Oh. And what'd you say, transgender?
Transcendence. That's right. He was.
I just wanted you to try to say it again.
No, well, you know what? It didn't work that time either. Transcendence. There you go.
Try it this time in English.
Well, you know what? No, well, listen. We're in 95 different countries. What I wanted to do was,
I see you were translating.
Right? No, not translating. I was giving that word in its original language to those nations around the world who do not speak English.
Nick doesn't just look like a pig; he speaks pig Latin. The most expensive painting to date,
yes,
sold in 2017, was called Salvator Mundi.
Oh,
Salvator Mundi. It is attributed. Now, there's a reason why I'm using the word attributed to Leonardo da Vinci. Again, the name Da Vinci comes up.
Right.
It's sold for $450 million.
Wow.
Here's the big catch to this.
All right.
They're not 100% sure that it is a Da Vinci.
Oh.
They just believe it is because it's the same exact style and brush movements and colors and the way he did the canvases. So they believe that it's a Da Vinci, but they're only 90% sure. So there's a 10% chance that this guy spent $450 million on a paint by numbers.
Wow. Yeah, a lot of numbers in that one. Holy wow.
Yeah, a lot of zeros.
You might want to bring lunch for this one. The Louvre in France. That's how it's pronounced, right? France?
Yeah.
Is the world's largest museum. There are 10.
The Louvre. You said the Louvre?
Yeah, the Louvre.
The Louvre.
I rolled the R. Actually, I think I almost rolled the V, which is hard to do.
Yeah.
So it has
have a door. It's a Louvre door.
Louvre door, yes, exactly, with louvers. There are tens of thousands of objects displayed, and if you spend 30 seconds at each piece, with 35,000 on display, it would take you over 100 days to see everything. So
what?
Yeah, again, tens of thousands of objects displayed. If you only spent just 30 seconds at each piece, so there are about 35,000 on display, it would take you over 100 days to see everything.
Maybe they ought to just look directly at them instead of looking through louver doors.
Maybe that's why.
They
Yes.
just open the louvers all the way.
So partially open. So if you're planning a trip, plan your visit around the key masterpieces like Mona Lisa and then the other classical.
Yeah, you better before they rob everything from there.
Right.
Doesn't seem to be much security.
No, there was that was a story last year, and apparently the password was something really ridiculous, like password.
It was password.
Yeah,
it was
exactly.
password. I mean,
Yeah, they would
in
never
French,
know
of
that.
course, which means stupita.
100%.
I love this one because it's right up our alley.
Yes.
Before synthetic paints, painters invented their own dyes and colors to make their paints more vivid and brighter. And so they had colors that they would call certain things. So there's one particular color. There's like a crew, I forget what it's called, a crew red or something. And there was all these like blue colors with names. And these names date back to the original artists who produced these colors.
All right.
Well, there's one famous color that a lot of artists use. It was called Indian yellow.
Okay.
It was derived from the urine.
No.
Listen, it was derived from the urine of cows that were fed predominantly mangoes for weeks prior to the collection of the urine.
Okay.
Then they used that urine as a yellow dye
Right.
to make this particular paint color.
Okay.
So that's probably why the guy who paid $450 million is so pissed off. He's pissed off, Nick.
Rather be pissed off than pissed on. Now, here's the thing. So that's brilliant, I guess, right? But who would sit down and think, how do I get a particular yellow dye? Okay, I'm going to go to a bunch of cows and feed them mangoes.
Yeah, how do you feed cows mangoes to begin with? I mean, what do you put them in hula skirts? Come on, you have mangoes, coconuts, and some papaya dancing in the sand around the fire.
Yes, Roy has dancing.
Speaking of music,
yes, we have a very special guest that actually this is courtesy of you. You know this gentleman. He's a doctor of music. Dr. David Gomez will be joining us, and he's a professor of classical music.
Nick and Roy will continue with totally useless information. Totally Useless Information with Nick and Roy continues. Listen, laugh, and learn.
Hey, thanks for listening here on Totally Useless Information with Nick and Roy. We invite you to go to our website, nickandroy.com. It is on fire. It is on fire because people are clicking on the Nick and Roy store. Why, Roy?
it's on fire because somebody actually set it on fire. No. I told Nick those candles from Bed Bath & Beyond are dangerous.
Yeah, they are.
No, okay. Folks, go on nickandroy.com. We have the Nick and Roy store. And the reason why people are going nuts is because they're getting these birthday messages. They go on nickandroy.com, type on the Nick and Roy store. You'll see birthday message. Click on it. There's a sample. It's the greatest gift. We are doing you a favor. It is the greatest gift you'll ever give to someone you know, love, friends, whatever. They will love it. It's inexpensive. It's easy to do. You don't even have to leave the comforts of the chair that you're sitting in.
Right.
And you look like a superstar. It's the birthday messages at nickandroy.com at the Nick and Roy store.
In fact, we have in my mailbag, we have someone who gave us some feedback on one of those computer messages. On one of those birthday messages, and it's Nick and I said computer because we're doing computers next. That's why. But you go to nickandroy.com, click in the Nick and Roy store.
This is totally useless computer and technology information. Let's double click with Roy and Nick.
Save this. Now, if you notice in any of the whether it's any document you're trying to save or anything like that, what is the icon that represents saving? There's an icon at the top. It looks like a floppy disk.
Really?
Remember the old floppy disk?
Yeah, where's that icon? I don't have that.
If you look at the top of your, was it a Word document or something? It's,
on the top of the document itself.
That's
Yes,
right.
yes. That's
the save symbol.
Oh, but
So-
we haven't used floppy disks for how long?
Well, exactly. So it became so the floppy disk icon is persistent in meaning save because it became a deeply ingrained, universally understood visual shorthand for saving data during the early days of computing, because you had to constantly save it in case the computer crashed, which happened a lot of the times. So even though the physical disks are obsolete, it's now a convention representing the concept of saving, not the actual device, of course. Much like a phone handset icon is for calls, even though the handset is
Sure,
pretty
nobody
much done.
right. Nobody knows what a phone handset
And
looks like, but they do from the icons. Yeah.
Exactly. They'll
When
recognize.
people put their two fingers in the air and go, "Call me."
Call me, yeah. That's right. They'll recognize the icon, but they don't know what it represents. Or what,
I say snap a picture of those people and let them see what it actually looks like. They'll never do it again.
No, they won't. They probably won't.
It looks like they're sticking cow horns in their head.
After
Nick, I wanted to bring something up.
wait a minute, cow
I
horns.
have in front of me. Oh,
Hold
okay.
on.
You're still going?
Yeah,
You're
no,
actually still.
No, you said cow horns, just like those mango eating, yellow pissing cows.
That's
that you
right.
talked
Oh,
about.
yes. The old yellow.
Oh, yellow. Younger
I have
generation.
some.
Yeah,
You're still going?
I'm still going.
Okay,
I
go ahead.
have
Yeah,
to
people
save.
want to know this, Nick.
I have to
They want to
save
know.
this.
Hold on one second, folks. Wake up.
Save this. So younger generations, you young whippersnappers, you youngins, you youths,
Yes. Utes.
understand the icon's function through exposure, okay, making it timeless.
Right. Speaking of exposure, I wish you would put some pants on.
Oh, is that you mean now? All right, you can go now. You can go now.
Okay. I'm bringing out, as you can hear, is this piece of paper. This was a piece of paper that was faxed, I tell you,
Faxed.
by courier pigeon to the voice lady.
Yeah,
And it was supposed to say computers and technology.
right.
Okay. Double click. And she said, double click with Roy and Nick.
That's correct.
That's rather fancy, but the paper says computers and technology. Double click. Roy has a bigger computer.
Computer, right. Exactly. Yeah, you have more RAM.
It's like fill in the blanks.
Right.
Double click. Roy has a bigger computer.
Well, because
okay.
yeah, go ahead.
Till this day, Nick.
Yeah.
Okay, we're doing computers. So till this day,
Mm-hmm.
there are computers produced with no internet. They don't have a function for internet.
Oh.
Now, you say why, correct?
Why, correct? Oh, sorry, why?
You did say why, correct.
Right.
He actually used the letter Y.
Why? Correct.
Okay, so the reason for the production of these computers is that early computers did not have an internet feature because there was no internet.
Correct.
And then, of course, as internet came on, you had the ability to hook onto Wi-Fi and internet and so on and so forth. There was the original Ethernet cables and so on and so forth.
Yes.
But these computers are used strictly for business and accounting functions. And so there's no need for internet because that would just be something that would have to be disabled anyway so that the people don't use it, I guess.
Right, yeah.
So these computers literally do the singular function that they are made for, like spreadsheets and accounting.
Computing.
So it's, I guess, a simplified system that just has one database situation.
That's why they're called computers.
Boy, I sound like I knew what I was talking about.
Wow, you know what? You actually impressed me for a change.
My vocabulary is much too copious for my immediate comprehension. In the future, I'll speak more emphatically.
For a complete translation of that particular segment, right? To
Nick just held up the letter Y again.
Correct.
Over the light bulb over his head.
You never forget your first.
That's true.
IBM's Simon Personal Communicator, 1994, is widely considered as the first true smartphone. The IBM's Simon Personal Communicator. In 1994, combined a mobile phone with a PDA, features like email, calendar, and apps, all operated via a touchscreen and stylus. While it was bulky and expensive, it pioneered features that define modern smartphones today. Of course, the other iconic, now defunct, but the other iconic brand were BlackBerries for the very same reason.
Yeah, Nick used Blackberries right till the end. I think you still use Blackberry for some things, right?
We use some of the BlackBerry apps that they were, but they're now Android, so they're Google written. But yeah, there's still
Yeah.
some BlackBerry stuff, but it's pretty good, pretty secure.
I've never had a Blackberry phone. You liked it, huh?
It was great. And, there's a push. Apparently, there's like this push for bringing back the old keyboards, because some people claim they can to type faster on the physical keyboards, but I don't know. Everyone has a preference.
In 1947,
Yes.
1947,
Yes.
so that's a long time ago
Uh-huh.
for computer age, a system error occurred in an Intel computer trial for their first microchips. It was attributed to something after the researchers and I guess scientists or whatever they looked through and they said, why did we get this error? What happened? And the one computer specialist said, oh, look, a moth flew into the CPU computer box.
Oh.
And he said, okay, we've debugged it. And they said, okay. And it stuck. From that point on, your computer has a bug in it.
A real bug. It was an actual bug.
It was an actual bug. How crazy is that? That's how the word your computer got a bug.
That bugs me.
Yeah. Yeah.
We all get these every day. I'm sure you get one. I get one. Those of you in our listening audience in 95 plus countries, they get this every single day. Spam email.
Yeah.
Spam.
Yeah. I like spam. I fry it up.
Yes. The first mass spam email was sent by Gary Thurk of Digital Equipment Corp, DEC, on May 3rd, 1978, and he sent it to 393 users on ARP and ARPANET, I guess is one of the computer networks.
Yeah, the old ARPANET.
Advertising a new computer, and it generated both sales and complaints, marking the beginning of unsolicited mass electronic messaging. Let's go down the rabbit hole. Why is mail spam called spam? It's
Why?
because of the famous Monty Python's Flying Circus sketch,
Spam, 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 spam.
where the
spam,
canned
spam.
meat product
Lovely
spam is repeated so
lovely
often,
time.
like you're doing right now. It was repeated so often and loudly, it drowns out the conversation, mirroring how unsolicited, intrusive digital messages overwhelmed communication.
Nick and Roy will continue with totally useless information.
Here comes the groom. Hey, got a wedding on your calendar? Nick and Roy for Tom's Place.
If you're the lucky groom, Tom is your best man, ready with sharp suits starting at just $229. The finest tuxedos in the city for $595. Why rent? Tom's got you covered, all crafted from quality fabrics, tailored to fit you perfectly, and then they're yours to keep.
What a great point. Why rent when it's affordable to own? Tom's Place dresses the groom, the groomsman, the father of the bride, and father of the groom, and any special guests with care. Come and try on the best selection of menswear with styles and fabrics to make you feel your absolute best.
Classic to trendy, favorite brands, destination ready, and exceptional values. Because of your big day, details matter, and so does your suit.
Enter the wonderful wedding contest at toms-place.com, toms-place.com, for a chance to win a $700 store credit. Or visit 190 Baldwin Street in Kensington Market. Please note, Tom's Place will be closed on Easter Sunday, but open on Monday.
We're back with totally useless information with Nick and Roy. Listen, laugh, and learn.
You're listening to Totally Useless Information with Nick and Roy. I'm feeling what I'm feeling today, Roy. You know what I'm really feeling?
I don't want to know.
I'm feeling really musical.
From Beethoven to Bieber, rock and roll to rhythm and blues. This is totally useless music information with Nick and Roy.
No, that's classical. See, that's classy. That's our voice lady. And she does a great job with all the intros, but she did a particularly great job on that one. I'm so excited because, first of all, you brought a guest to the show. Okay, that's one thing. But he is a doctor of music. And the last person that we our experience with any doctor of music was Dr. The Zick in our high school days, 45 plus years ago, Roy.
Yeah.
But today on the show, we have a truly very special guest, Dr. David Gomez. Welcome to Total Useless Information with Nick and Roy.
Thank you so much. Thanks for the invitation.
Now, Dr. Gomez is a college professor of history of music, and he also does all kinds of other things involved in music. But the history of music thing is what really, really got me, because we had a brief conversation, and not about briefs. We had a conversation about music.
Yeah, you were in briefs.
Not a brief conversation,
Wow.
but a conversation that was short. No.
Goodness gracious.
Oh boy,
I
where are we
personally
going?
wasn't wearing underwear at the time. I was commando, but
Yeah.
what are you going to do? But anyway, so we had this conversation, and it was like, David, you have got to come on the show, because this was how incredibly cool the conversation was. And it had to do with Mozart and what I thought about Mozart from watching a movie was completely wrong. So tell the folks a little bit about that, David.
Right. So there's this movie that everyone knows. It's called Amadeus. It came out in 1984. Milos Forman is the director. Tom Hulce is the actor that plays Mozart. And most of us have gotten our information about who Mozart was from this movie. But what we don't know is that this movie is completely fictitious. What the premise of the movie is that they have this composer, Antonio Salieri, who seems to be commissioning the Mozart Requiem and basically driving Mozart to his death by composing at all hours of the night and into sickness. But it turns out that Salieri didn't steal the Requiem Mass and didn't commission the Mass at all, and it was someone else.
Mozart was brilliant. I mean, when did he start playing piano? When he was 3 or 4?
He's born in 1756.
Right.
He writes his first piano piece at the age of 5.
5.
Gee.
He writes his first symphony at the age of 8, and he writes his first opera at the age of 12. And
This
he
is insane.
dies in 1791 at the age of 35.
Okay, so that's a full life back then, I guess, right? So he did reading and writing, because usually like 3-year-olds or 5-year-olds today learn how to read, like the alphabet. But that's the thing about Mozart, right? So at 5 years old, I mean, he wrote music. I mean, and then at age 8 and age 12, that is just fascinating stuff. I'm a big fan
A
of
true savant. The guy's a savant.
Savant.
I mean,
So,
really.
Agree. Yeah.
Dr. Gomez, how did you decide that you wanted to be a doctor of music? Like, what sparked what did you listen to maybe musically that said, this is what I want to do for my career?
So I've always been involved in music. My parents are not musicians. They're not musical, but my father had an amazing record collection. I used to play music from all over the world. And I remember being a little kid listening to his records and just becoming like moved by these recordings from all around the world. And then I just asked for instruments, guitars, pianos, violins, cellos, and my mom provided me with lessons and took me to, wherever I wanted to go to study. And then I went to conservatory for music and master's in music, and then a doctorate from University of Oklahoma.
That's amazing.
See what happens, Nick, when your parents like you?
Well,
No, but you also told me about Mozart. Now, in that movie, of course, the Requiem and so on, but you told me that Mozart's wife did what when he died?
So Mozart wasn't able to complete the Requiem Mass. He died during the middle of it. So a big portion of it was unfinished. So what Mozart's wife did, along with Mozart's student, Stussmeyer, is they completed the piece with sketches that Mozart had written. So roughly about half of the work is Mozart's work, and the rest is just a repiecing of what his student thought Mozart would have wanted. And with that, they finally were able to sell the work to this masked man that we assumed was Salieri in this movie, but it was really to somebody else that was commissioning the work.
So Salieri technically probably doesn't even get it, but in the movie, he's the masked man.
He's the masked man, and he's the one that steals the mask. But
Wow.
ironically, the mask was really stolen by somebody else, and it was this wealthy aristocrat, a count, and his name was Count Walsegg. and Count Wulfstig's wife had died a year earlier, and he wanted to write this masterwork honoring his wife's death, the anniversary, and he's the one that commissioned this work from Mozart, from a masked man, and what he ends up doing is he ends up passing it off as his own, and promote, and puts this work on as if he composes
that should have been the movie. That's the real drama of this whole thing. It's a Peyton Place drama.
Our special guest is Dr. David Gomez, who's a professor of music history, and he's our special guest today. And in 2016, Mozart outsold these artists in CDs. This is when we played CDs, right?
Mm-hmm.
He outsold Drake, Beyonce, and Adele.
Wow.
His new complete edition of is with 200 disc box set, so 200 discs of Mozart's works, right?
Which had to be very expensive. Can you imagine?
1.25 million individual CDs that were sold. So 2000.
Well, there were 200 per, so they basically sold like 20 sets.
But he outsold Beyonce. Could you imagine Beyonce being outsold by?
But he should, because I mean, listening to Mozart and listening to Beyonce is like listening to beautiful music and listening to somebody scratching on a blackboard.
Allegedly. Let me ask you. So you talked about.
Although I'd rather look at Beyonce and not Mozart.
Right. Yes.
There's a trade-off to everything.
They both wore wigs. So, Dr. Gomez, how would you explain the difference between listening to a piece of let's say, symphony, and experiencing it live? What is the difference between live and recordings?
Well, actually, I don't prefer to listen to music live, because when you go to a concert live, you're dealing with a lot of people that are there that are not engaged in the music, so they might be opening up candies or puffing, distracting. So that annoys me when I have to go somewhere that requires just being an active listener and other people are not actively listening, they're just there, or passive listeners. So it's hard to listen to music live for me, because it's a lot of distraction. So I prefer to listen to music at home, in my own space, or with people that really know what to listen for.
I'm really surprised by that answer, to be honest with you, because I would think that someone going to the symphony, you capture the experience of being in one, but you bring up a great point, because people are inconsiderate. Maybe they got tickets to the concert because maybe they got it as a Christmas gift that they really didn't want or whatever.
Think of the inconsiderate. Also, you got to think of the digital capabilities nowadays with the recording. I mean, you're literally listening to every single one of those, where you'd be sitting in a seat, let's say to the right side. If you were there live, you're probably listening to, let's say, more violins than you are oboes. But if you listen to the recording, you would hear everything. So I agree.
If I do go to a concert, I'm sitting in probably what people think is the worst seat. I sit up to the front of the stage, all the way on the right side or left side. Yeah. And the reason I do that is I want to see what the conductor is doing. Okay, I'm not really concerned about what the orchestra is doing, but I want to see what gestures he's giving or she's giving to the ensemble, so that way they produce the sound he wants.
Wow, that's way too deep.
No.
Actually, David is the guy in the front with the AC/DC shirt on, vaping.
Oh, nice.
You can't vape.
So actually, my background, or what I studied, is conducting. So I'm an orchestral and choral conductor, and my doctorate is in conducting. So that's what, that's where I find, that's my passion for music.
Because you've got to be looking at it differently.
Because the conductor is basically what it means to conduct energy. So when you touch two wires together, you're transmitting the energy from one wire to the next, and you continue the current. So in music, what that is you're the person that takes the score, what's on the paper, and what the composer wanted, and transmitting that, conducting it to the ensemble.
Well, I was going to ask you.
So you're that.
Sorry, I was going to ask you about that. So a conductor goes up there with a baton. Now, is it the job of the conductor to keep the tempo of the musical piece, or what is it that the conductor actually? How does he take the two bits of energy?
This is a great question. The idea of a modern conductor with someone with an actual baton, that begins with Mendelssohn, so roughly mid-1800s. But back in the Baroque period, music conducting was just about keeping time. So you would have had a person that had this, maybe a scepter or a bar, and they'd bang it on the ground and keep time with it. And that was their job. There's actually a French composer by the name of Lully, who actually has an accident with this scepter or a rod, and he jams it into his foot, and his foot becomes gangrene, and he ends up dying from this conducting injury.
Oh
Wow.
my God. This is a dangerous job.
It is.
Never mind getting poked in the eye with a baton.
Yeah.
So do you
So
have
then you have one baton or two?
Always one baton.
One
Always
baton.
one. And if
And
it
so-
flings out of your hand, you just conduct with your hands.
Okay, so you have one baton, but you're waving the other hand as well, correct?
Yeah, so the right hand with the baton, that's the one that keeps the meter and the tempo. And the left hand is the hand that shapes the music. So it makes the music grow in dynamic and volume, or backs it off, or it stops the music when you give a cutoff. So both hands are needed.
So are musicians trained to follow the conductor? So in their musical training, are there classes to show them, to teach them how to follow a conductor?
So great question. In all of their ensembles, they're all with conductors. They're all led by someone that shapes the music. So they're used to seeing people that do that. Some of them end up taking classes in conducting, so they learn more about the gestures. But this is something that they're
You
used
gotta
to working
learn.
with.
I would assume, yeah, it's like a learning
It's
experience.
a
right?
language that you learn, yeah, because when you're in concert, you can't talk. You can't tell someone play louder or stop playing. It's all with your gesture.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's cool because it's so complicated. You know, when you hear the staccato of the violins, and it's so precise. It's truly, folks that don't listen to classical music, take the time to broaden your horizons and listen to it, because it is totally amazing what the sounds and the like, again, the talent that goes involved in this.
Right.
So, Dr. Gomez, Roy and I met in high school back in 1979, so 45, 46 years ago. So
Oh, boy.
Yeah, a long time. And we were in the senior chorus at Columbus High School.
He said, "Oh boy."
Yeah, he did. Yeah. Well, the fact that it's 45-something years ago, the fact that we're still friends.
Yeah, he said, "Oh boy." I disconnected him just now.
Yeah, he disconnected that energy. The two wires were disconnected. There
I
you go.
conducted him out of the room.
Yeah, he lost the true rhythm of the friendship over the years. So we were involved in the senior chorus, and we had a great instructor, a great teacher, music teacher, Dr. Dzik. And he was absolutely fabulous. And he was, he didn't use a baton, but he was a great conductor as well. And conducting a choral ensemble is a lot different than an orchestral pieces, of course. But in our high school days, Roy was a tenor, right? You sang tenor, okay? I was more of a baritone. I had a lower register, this kind of thing. So Roy is more like the eunuch than I am, even though I'm Nick, right?
So,
Right.
okay. Oh, great segue.
Yes.
Great segue.
Right.
So we were talking, and you brought up something about men being the only singers at the time in opera. And then we had this discussion, and you brought up that women were not allowed to be in it. So can you tell the folks
Correct.
about
Yeah,
that?
in the early Baroque era, so Baroque period begins roughly 1600 when opera is being born in Italy. And there's this preference for all male singers to be featured in operas, and also in church music, you're only allowed to use male singers.
Wow.
So what ends up happening is that in opera, you're required to have parts that are quite high and being sung by an adult. So rather than feature a woman, a lot of the roles that were women roles were actually sung by men.
So the tenor portion, the high, or excuse me, the
No,
soprano portion was sung by a man.
A man, correct. Now,
how did they
sing
achieve
that
this?
high? Right. So how they sang that high is actually, it happens before puberty. So what happened was that the Catholic Church would very often seek out these boys that had musical talent. And very often these kids came from, poorer families. And the parents would kind of like give the kids up to the Catholic Church to receive an education and be fed and have a life for themselves. What ended up happening was that a lot of these boys that showed a lot of talent musically, vocally, they were actually taken by doctors or some sort of a person. Sometimes they were vets, and they would have this procedure where they were castrated.
Gelded, so to
Yeah,
speak.
so roughly at around the age of 7 to 9, before they had their testosterone rush, they'd have their testicles removed.
And they were called
Castrati. So
castratis. When he said that to me, I was like, this guy, David has got to be on the show.
Right.
So they called them castratis because they were castrated and they had their what's cut off.
right.
Nowadays, you have to be married to do that.
Yes.
And your wife takes them from you and demasculates you. That is unbelievable.
So what were they called
Correct.
again? Castrati?
Castrati.
Castrati. Sounds like an Italian restaurant. Welcome to Castrati's, where the main dish.
You don't want to go there.
Yeah.
No, you do, because they had a great dish. It's called spaghetti and meatballs. Ironically, right?
Right.
Well, they make those little pasta sacks with the ricotta in them.
So what ends up happening to these castrated males is that they end up growing. They form into a fully formed male
Right.
in size, but their voice doesn't change. So what they end up having is this power of a man, but yet the vocal cords don't lengthen since they're not subjected to the testosterone
That's
bath.
not all that doesn't lengthen.
Right.
Yes.
Hey,
So-
when you reach your 60s, David, you'll know what I mean.
Right. So these men went on to having this superhuman high voice and went on to becoming stars. One of the most famous ones was an Italian by the name of Farinelli, who was basically rock star status. And he had a brother that they were kind of like a tag team duo. So when they'd meet someone that was interested in Farinelli, his brother would step in and complete the task.
Wow.
If you know what I mean.
So they'd share responsibilities.
This
Guy was a superstar singer of rock
Correct.
star status, and his brother, by sheer being a relation, gets hooked into the benefits of it.
And he would
I love that story.
He would complete the task with the
Jesus.
woman. Yeah.
My
Wow.
gosh. Wow.
That's crazy. See, this is amazing stuff.
This is why we say in our
People
show.
who think that classical music history is boring, you need to take David's class.
Yeah. Now, where do you teach, Doctor?
I teach at Florida Southwestern State College, and I was a professor at USF before that. I've been in Florida for roughly 3 years.
Okay.
Before that, lived in New York City for many years. I was also a Fulbright scholar studying the music of Vivaldi in Venice. So I've been around studying music and learning about music.
Well, you've performed at Carnegie Hall, Lincoln Center, and all the big important institutions like that.
I have, yes.
You were also part of the New York City All City Choir.
Correct. I was a conductor.
Isn't
of the New
that
York City
funny,
All-City
Nick?
Choir. Yeah.
When I saw that, I was like, wow.
Well, we were part of. Were you in that as well, Roy? The All City Choir?
I was for the 1 year.
For the 1 year.
Yeah.
So
yeah.
we were part of that. So I think Dr. The Zik handpicked a few of us to be part of the New York City All City Choir, and we performed at Carnegie Hall. And you talk about the experiences of listening to recorded music and versus live music, but when you perform in a place like Carnegie Hall, it's like, I don't go around telling my friends I performed at Carnegie Hall. It was
No, but
such
you
a
did.
privilege. I did.
But you did.
But
Yeah.
I don't. But yeah. But that was just at one time. But what an experience that was, because you don't realize where you're standing and how many great musical performers, stood before you years and years and years ago. So
Right.
Yeah,
Right.
but Nick,
Yeah. Something.
you say it like that, but you've only had sex once, and you tell people you had sex. So I mean, no, really, honestly, you performed at Carnegie Hall.
Yeah. Okay. So yeah, there you go. So in my intro now, from
that's-
now on, welcome to Totally Useless Information with Nick and Roy. Nick, I have performed at Carnegie Hall. Roy, over to you. Like that kind of thing. No,
But it is true.
Yeah.
It is true. I
it's
mean,
quite something. So, of all the instruments that you've played over the years, which is your favorite instrument that you love to play?
I don't really have a favorite instrument. I've learned a lot of different instruments, but the instrument that I use most often is the piano, since that's the instrument that I can play most notes with because you've got 10 fingers and you can play more notes at one time. So when I look through a new piece of music, I read it. So I can read music like people read words. So when you just pick up a book and start reading it, I can see a score and I can read through it and see if I like it or find out what's interesting about this piece of music.
I have a
Yeah,
question.
most people don't understand that, David,
Right.
because they see, like David and I were at a function, and David had his guitar, and people are like, we'll do this, and it's like I'm singing, David's playing, and it's like David's never played that song before. I haven't sang it with him before, and they think it just comes together like, one, two, three. It doesn't work that way. But
No.
he can actually look at any piece of music and know where he's going with it, because he reads it like we read words on a page.
Words.
Because it's
Exactly.
universal
Yeah.
that way. That's great. So, but here's a question I have. So we have many famous people who do not know how to read music, and yet they're professionals. I believe Paul McCartney did not know how to read music.
He didn't. None of the Beatles did.
I have an issue with that. You'll
Okay.
find a lot of typically rock people. They'll say, you don't need to learn how to read music. It's gonna mess with your inspiration or change your music. I
They
mean,
only say that, David, because they don't know how to read it.
exactly. Would
It's
you,
an
when you're
excuse.
would you, in your right mind, tell someone, a kid, you don't need to learn how to read words. It's not going to help you. Just learn to listen to me,
Exactly.
and you'll be fine.
Yeah,
Come
learn.
on.
Yeah, right. Get the audio book. Now,
So
listen.
we've got.
Honestly, that's one of the being involved in music. That's one of the things that I regret most, is not taking lessons and learning how to read music. Because it's hard. You can do the stuff you want to do,
Right.
but it's
you know,
hard to do.
you came to
duplicate.
my house, I remember, and you were playing on my piano, and I was watching you play, and
Right.
Nick, he doesn't use his thumbs. He was just playing with his four fingers of each hand.
Now, let
And
me
he's-
explain myself
I'm like,
first.
what? How do you get that sound?
Right. And he's looking at me and he's saying, you don't use your thumbs. And I tried to explain to him that I was very busy years ago when I learned how to play the piano.
Right,
and the
yeah.
thumbs were being used at the same
Yeah,
time for
exactly.
other purposes.
Yeah, he was sucking on them, is what he was doing. So, all right. So how does
Well, I was only 5.
right? Yeah. Roy Mozart, Roy Amadeus Locascio. All right. So, okay, I understand your objection to people saying, well, you don't need to know how to read music, but how do they do it? How do musicians, perform without really reading the music?
Well, Roy does.
Yeah.
You have a great ear.
There you
and
go.
you hear
That's-
things.
I have
and you
2
can
of them. I
remember-
have 2 of them, David.
and you can remember things, and you learn the style. So
Right.
those people are big music listeners. They have a great memory, and that's how they get around their handicap, which it is a handicap that they can't read.
It is.
Right. Okay.
It is, honestly.
So my exposure to classical music was, and don't laugh, was in 1981, Hooked on Classics.
Okay.
I'm sure you heard of it.
Right.
The recording.
Yeah, the recording. So it was basically snippets of classical music set to a beat.
Beethoven, Mozart, Schubert.
And in the
Brahms.
early 80s in the history of music, were basically a lot of medleys were around. And so I was in that department store, Roy. I was in the department store Alexander's up in the cafeteria. I think I was having lunch. It was right by Hunter College where I went. And so they were playing this album because it just came out, and they're sampling the music for you to buy it. And I'm listening to it. I'm like, I'm familiar with some of those songs. And even today, you may not be a fan of classical music, but you're surrounded by and exposed to a lot of classical music because a lot of classical music is being used in a lot of advertisements, for example.
Who doesn't know dun 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 dun?
Right.
It's like, okay.
So I think that if you're exposed to
So who wrote that?
Beethoven.
Great.
Yeah,
Symphony number. What number is it?
Is it number 9?
No.
Number 5.
Number 5.
Yeah, Symphony 5.
Yeah.
Okay, Symphony number 5. Beethoven is the one who was deaf in one ear.
He went both ears. He went
Oh,
deaf throughout his life. Yeah. So his
Yeah.
last work that he could really hear was his Seventh Symphony. Actually, he was completely deaf writing that work, and that
Nick,
was it.
Nick, he said he's completely deaf.
yeah. Thank God I can read sign language.
Got to speak up with Nick.
Right. Yeah. Okay. So he wrote that while he was deaf. So that now back to someone who knows how to write music, and so without hearing it, he knew what he was composing.
Because he already learned to hear
Right.
music when he was a kid. It's kind of like if you go deaf throughout your life,
Exactly.
you'll still be able to talk.
Right.
If a blind person went blind at the age of 20, you ask them what a rose looks like, they know what it
They'll
looks
know.
like.
Exactly.
Right, exactly. Yeah.
Well, the question came up because in one of our topics here on Total Useless Information with Nick and Roy is dreams, and someone had asked, "Do blind people dream? And what do they dream about?" And the conversation was about, well, if they were born blind, they would imagine what the images look like in their dreams. But those who became blind later in life can
Use the
reference
images,
that
piece
they
together a story.
right exactly that
Correct.
they did see
Right.
and so on. That's so very
Do
similar
you dream?
to music.
Do you dream music, David?
I listen. I hear music in my dreams.
You
Yeah,
do?
I do. Yeah.
Yeah, I literally wake up sometimes and write down like words that I think in my dream I put to a song. You know,
Okay, and is
so
that
Great.
it's mainly like Heidi Klum, ooh ah, ooh ah.
right? Yeah,
Mm.
yeah.
N-
In the key
not,
of
not,
He said,
not,
"Mm."
not exactly Mozart.
no, in the key of B flat. Okay, so have you composed anything, Dr. Gomez?
Yeah, I do. I write, but I don't consider myself a composer.
Okay,
I consider myself more of an interpreter. So I enjoy bringing other composers' works to life through conducting, through performance. You have to pick and choose what you want to do. You can't do everything as a musician if you
Right.
want to do it at a very high level.
yeah.
Right.
Okay.
It's master. Yeah, right. You're the jack of all trades and the master of none. Then.
Right. And
Yes.
composition is a very lonely craft. Very often composers are just working in solitude, just
Can
know,
you imagine though,
writing,
like Beethoven's Fifth Symphony? Can you imagine like the work that takes to, And he did it with no computers and no access to. I mean, God, this is
nothing,
crazy.
nothing. And some composers have a lot of sketches. You'll see them scratching out work. Beethoven is one of those that you'll have a lot of sketches and ideas. But a composer like Mozart, we have no sketches. Everything that he wrote that came from his pen was note perfect every time.
Yeah.
We have
Could you
no record
imagine?
of
Like,
errors.
I could imagine if that Salverdi character knew Mozart, they probably hated this guy.
They knew each other. They
But
knew each other.
probably hated him because they looked at him like it comes too easy. They
Right.
probably worked so hard, and this guy made it look like it was so easy.
In-
That's
inter-
infuriating.
Interestingly, Salieri had the better job. He was the court composer in Vienna. He was to the royal Roman emperor.
Wow.
And Mozart wanted that job, and he always got, sidelined, or he couldn't get that position. So the guy with lesser talent had a better job.
Sure.
Go figure.
Yeah. Look at pop music.
Right. Right.
How many talented people are there, and then we have to hear them. Some of these people that are not great.
Wow. So going back to Beethoven, who was a composer, Dr. Dzik was a brilliant music teacher. Like when he taught music, you remembered it. He had this certain style of teaching, but he had the corniest jokes.
Yeah.
And so he would say, Beethoven was a composer.
Battle him of the Republic.
I'm going to get to that in a second. But first he goes, Beethoven was a composer. He's been dead for how many years? He goes, now he's decomposing. That was his joke.
Oof.
The other one was, why did the soprano join the Navy? Because she wanted to hit the high seas. Okay? Now, in the Battle Hymn of the Republic,
you could tell Nick's humor is very
Primitive.
geared on Dr.
So in the Battle Hymn of the Republic, there's the line, "In the beauty of the lilies, Christ was born across the sea, with a glory in his bosom that transfigures you and me." as he's teaching us, as we're singing this, it's a very slow part of the song, very, very
In
solemn.
the beauty of the lilies. And then just quickly, he was born.
See, then he goes, with a glory in his bosom. And then he goes, wait a minute, hold it. He says, you have to hold the bosom, meaning the note. But of course, we're in high school. And when you hear, a very square Dr. the Zig, God bless him,
say this sexually provocative thing
right.
that he really didn't even mean.
Right. So he says, no, stop it, hold it. You have to hold the bosom. And we're all giggling, and he's not realizing why we were giggling. And then, the light bulb moment goes off. His face turned beet red. And
beet red. He actually went into his office, if you remember.
That's right.
He walked off this little stage area that he would work from. The piano was up there. He went went into his office for like 2 seconds, and then came back out because he must have been cracking up and didn't want to do it.
But then he laughed with us, and then he said, okay, all right, you got me. And then we held the bosom, and so did Roy.
Okay, so David, you talk about dedication to his craft and his job, right?
Right.
We had a show to do. His wife is 9 months pregnant and ready to give birth at any time.
Literally.
She comes to the show. He has a doctor at the show and a classroom set up in case she goes into labor.
Wow.
This guy was really, well, he should have been committed.
So during the holiday season, Dr. the Zik always sends an email that talks about Beethoven's birthday. He was born in December. And so he would always talk about Beethoven and then talk about the many years he cherished and all the concerts that he did and wishing everybody a happy holiday and all that kind of stuff. And he has reunions every once in a while because he was also the music director for all the musical plays that we did in high school. Roy and I were in The Sound of Music together. We were in Guys and Dolls. Were you in Guys and Dolls in our senior year? No.
I was busy being the president of the school.
That's right. Yeah, exactly. He was. And so, and he was a great musical director as well. And Dr. the Zik, it's because of him and because of his teaching styles, I think Roy is able to perform. And I don't sing necessarily. I don't perform as a singer, but I MC events. And I think a lot of that comes with what we learned in high school through Dr. the Zik. So thank you, Dr. the Zik.
That's amazing to have a person touch your life like that, give you skill, and give you an appreciation for music.
If you would curate, let's say, a classical music for beginners playlist, what would be the first track in that playlist?
Oh, good question. Good question.
Yeah. Well, I like to go through music history periods because I think that gives my students a good perspective on how music evolves. So I'd go maybe roughly to the medieval time period first, maybe start with Gregorian chant, and then transition through the medieval time period, look at composers like Machaut, and then look at the early Renaissance, Josquin, and then head into the Baroque era. So I like that path where you can see music evolving and growing. So that's kind of like where I get my interest and how I like to lead people through music.
Yeah.
I saw an interview on it was Paul McCartney, and the person interviewing him said, you guys were so instrumental, no pun intended, in creating the music of the era of their time, and they kept evolving, and because of them, music evolved. And Paul McCartney, you could see this look on his face, and he said, honestly, he said, I don't think that's the case. He said, we would listen to, and he was very descriptive. He said, when the Beach Boys came out with the album Pet Sounds, we listened to it, and then we came out with an album. When we listened to the Who's album, then we came out with Revolver, and so on. And he said, we were actually mimicking the music of the time. We started out mimicking Black musicians from the 50s. And he basically he deflated his own ego by saying that, but it was a reality that they were following the trends, not creating them.
Right,
they
but
were
they
just
also
really good at it.
they had the fortune of having worked with George Martin. So
George Martin.
He's a background in classical music, and he's kind of like tossed the Beatles and say, you know what? Because he wanted to produce classical music records, it wasn't work for him at the moment since he was a newer composer and producer. And they tossed him these 4 kids from Liverpool and said, here, work with these kids.
Yeah.
And that's what really changed the sound of the Beatles and really,
And and that's what he's saying, Nick, is so, not saying anything bad about the Beatles, because they're amazing. They really are. They were locked in to doing what they needed to do, which was write songs. But the songs was like sketch outlines. And it's Martin who takes them and creates music out of it and takes it. They would come in the studio and go, what do you think of this, George? Bang, 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 bang. And he'd be like, wait, we could put the strings in the background, we could this, and then we can do this, and we can woke up, got out of bed, round the comb across my head. It's like he put that.
Right.
It's strange. And when you really listen to the Beatles now, you realize how strange their music really was, because it was very in depth. And technically, not a lot of it was not of their time. It was more of his time. It's more like jazzy sometimes, and again operatic. So with the beautiful string ensembles. Oh my God, it's amazing. Yeah.
Dr. David Gomez, we really appreciate your time. You've been really generous with your time, and we have learned lots. And I think we're just scratching the surface. We would love to invite you.
And we didn't even have to pay for his course.
No, well, I was going to ask, are there ways that people who want to learn about music, do you offer any courses?
I do at my college, but I also offer online classes as well. So if they'd like to reach out to me or have any questions about music, I'm here for your listening audience, Nick and Roy. If your listeners want to message me or want more about music, they can visit my website, davidgomezmusic.com. If they want to email me directly, just email david@davidgomezmusic.com, and we can just engage more about what music is and what their questions might be.
Nick and Roy will continue with totally useless information. You're listening to Totally Useless Information with Nick and Roy. Listen, laugh, and learn.
We spoke about the floppy disk. The hard drive came at about 1980. The original hard drive, the first one, worked with 1 gigabyte. So that's like nothing. We're working on terabytes now. I mean, it weighed, how much do you think it weighed, the first hard drive?
5 pounds.
550 pounds.
Wow.
You're off by a little bit.
Just a bit. Yeah.
So, and what do you think the cost was?
$500.
If you're paying by the pound.
Right. $500.
$40,000.
Wow.
Was the first, and that's the first hard drive, 1980.
Thanks for joining us here on Totally Useless Information with Nick and Roy. You can also visit our website, nickandroy.com, to send us an email.
What's in the mailbag? What's in the mail?
I have 2 emails that say practically the same thing. These are the 2 recent birthday messages that we've done. And one of them said, this is absolutely professional. We were really, really surprised by the quality of the message. So somewhere in there's a compliment. I don't know what they were expecting, but they really enjoyed it. And the other one was, this was for her sister. She was totally surprised. In fact, she had to listen to it over and over again, and she cried every single time. Thank you.
Yeah, that's what we do to women. We make them cry.
Yes, 100%. For different reasons that we have in the past.
I was going to say, did we send a picture of ourselves with
No,
that?
we didn't. We did not.
That'll make them cry.
Thank you, Nick and Roy, for making me look fantastic. There you go.
You're welcome. See, that's what happens with the birthday messages.
Yeah.
I mean, I think we did like 40 birthday messages last week. This is insane. This has gotten so big.
It's
and folks,
amazing.
there's a reason for it. It's great. It really is great.
Yeah.
I'm surprised we thought of it.
Yes. What do you got?
I got Reese. Reese was in the mailbag.
Yes.
Battle Creek, Michigan.
Okay.
And I know about Battle Creek, Michigan, but she says, here is some useless information about Battle Creek. It's known as the Cereal City.
Oh, yeah, that's why it sounded familiar. Okay, yeah.
Nickname of Battle Creek. Yes,
Right, okay.
Cereal City, because of W.K. Kellogg and cornflakes, which was created and made here in Battle Creek, Michigan.
Right.
I hope it's useless enough for you.
Okay, let's see. We're the judges
Yeah.
of that.
Yeah, Reese, she's got a very smart derriere.
Right,
She's
yes.
a wise.
She's a wise.
She's a wise donkey.
Right.
She says, "Thanks for the show. We love listening to you guys, and we hope that you put this on." So, Reese, Battle Creek, Michigan, you're famous.
There you go. On the show today, we talked about art. We talked about computers. We had a fascinating conversation with our musical professor, Dr. David Gomez. It's time for the news.
And now, from around the corner and around the world, this is TUI News.
In Tampa, Florida,
Jeez.
an afternoon doing chores took a scary turn for an 86-year-old Tampa man.
Yeah, well, that's what happens down here in Florida, folks. 86 years old, they're doing landscaping.
Well, no, this wasn't landscaping. James Manatares found himself dangling off his roof. Three stories high.
Ooh.
It used to be the old joke that they got cats out of trees. I weigh about 170 pounds. They got me off that roof in good shape, he said. Since I have so much foliage around here, I got up on the roof and blew it off. But this,
Well, he's 86, so I guess at one point they called him a cool cat.
right, he was. But this time, Manatares, 86, said the branches he normally uses for support were trimmed. I was afraid to walk on it. My shoes weren't doing real well, so I decided.
So he climbed the tree to get on the roof?
Yep. So I decided I would get down and crawl it. But unfortunately, because of the pitch of the roof, every time I would roll over, I would go more towards the edge of the roof. So he soon realized his legs were dangling off his roof, and he was in a precarious position.
You know, instead of realizing that the tree was trimmed or the position he was in the roof, he should have realized he's 86.
Right. Well, he soon realized his legs were dangling off the roof, and he was. Yeah. So his neighbor just happened to walk out and saw his legs over the side of the
His
house.
90-year-old neighbor with bad vision said, "What's that on the roof?
But managed to call 911.
These damn kids got legs hanging off the roof."
So anyway, after 911, the Tampa Police Department and Tampa Fire Rescue responded within minutes to the call. So thankfully for that. And again,
This guy hung in there, huh?
he did. As soon as I heard the sirens, I thought, oh yes, this is just what I need. If first responders had not arrived, he said it would have been about a 30-foot drop to the gravel below.
Mhm.
He said...
But then again, he's 86, so it probably would have seemed longer.
Right, yeah.
I'm falling.
Down.
Now, see, this is a commercial for Life Alert. Had he
Right.
had a Life Alert button, he would have hit it.
No, maybe not, because he wouldn't have had a free hand to grab it.
Ooh,
was
that's true.
dangling.
He had his hands full at the time.
Manatara said his wife, Sharon, had warned him about going on the roof to blow off the leaves. But she probably told him to go on the roof.
I
So
was
then
just
she
going to
said-
say, she warned him. How
Yeah.
did she warn him? She said,
Yeah.
you're going to fall off that damn roof. But then stand out there, Sharon. Sharon, I'm talking to you directly.
You know what?
Stand out there and watch this 86-year-old man on the roof.
Never mind Sharon. Let's call her Karen. It rhymes, first of all. We'll just
Yeah,
call
she
her
is
a
a
Karen, right? So never mind. So first she probably nagged him and said, go up there and clean the roof, clean the leaves off the roof. And then when he caught himself dangling off the side of the roof, she's like,
Nick, I think you need some. I think you're having some personal issues and need some therapy.
No, this is not me. First of all, I'm not 86, because so this is what he says.
Give or take a year.
She's been on me for years not to do it. So it's like one of those things, reverse psychology
Now they're
things.
talking about their sex life.
No, not that. But
Oh, she's been on him for the. Oh, I got
Yeah,
it.
that-
I thought you meant she was on him.
but it was a reverse psychology
I'm a
thing,
simple
right?
man, Nick. I'm a simple man.
Yeah, it takes it takes a shallow man to think deep thoughts. So anyway, so she's been on me for years not to do it, but when you build a home and you go up there and you blow it every year or twice a year, maybe you are right.
There you go again. She blew it.
You get confident. So after 40 years of living in the house he built, it was time for the helping hand from first responders. So thankfully he's
First
okay.
off, what the hell does he have a 3-story house in Florida? He's 86 years old. Doesn't he understand he needs a ranch house? He doesn't need stairs.
You know what? Because he built
Not
it.
to mention hanging out on the roof. He probably went up there to kill himself because of Sharon.
Maybe so. Wow. That's all the time we have for this week's episode of Totally Useless Information with Nick and Roy. We want to thank you very much. We want to thank Dr. David Gomez for joining us and giving us some fascinating tales.
Wasn't that cool?
It was really fascinating. Now, as we said, like we were music students in high school, and we had a great time. But he really threw some great insight on Mozart and all kinds of fascinating stuff. In fact, you know what I'm going to do? I'm going to rewind the show and go back to that segment over again. And we want to
listen to it again, Nick.
In the meantime, we will scour the internet far and wide to find more totally useless information just for you.
So until then, you tell a friend about the trend. That means tell everyone you know to listen to the show. I'm rhyming everything. What am I, a rapper?
No. Who do you think you are, Dr. Seuss? I'm Nick.
And I'm Roy.
Thanks for listening.
Totally Useless Information with Nick and Roy is recorded and produced in Canada. For more totally useless information, visit nickandroy.com. That's nickandroy.com. Totally Useless Information with Nick and Roy has been brought to you in part by Tom's Place, the finest in men's fashion. Located in Toronto at 190 Baldwin Street in the heart of Kensington Market, or visit toms-place.com.